Hey guys, Choi here in the House of Black Society. So, going to the next subject, which is, okay, so you showed us the buoy. What's next? So I told you guys when I was showing regarding how that windlass buoy was lacking its ability to lock and trap, what we prefer in Comtech for our blades. So the particular subject on that one, or particular element of the blade, is the forward curving guard, aka what some people call the devil horn guard. Mr. Bagwell was not a big fan of the latter name reference, so he actually used to say like forward curving guard or curve guard is more generally preferable. On that statement, with that, I give you saw probably the shorts for this a while back, is my teacher, Master Arms James A. Keating's original Comtech Crossada that is crafted by Bob Dozier. So, this thing has the following. I'm going to show you while it's in sheath first. Custom Garage Tech sheath by yours truly. Yeah, I know. You could laugh your head off. It actually turned out pretty well, so I was kind of shocked on that. With correct belt stud in brass and skull bead lanyards from my good friend Matt. Thanks again, Matt. And a Crossada with brass quillion. Thank you again, Uncle Jim. And the lanyard for FFS applications. So while it's in its sheath, allow me to show you guys how and why this bead is essential. So generally when you carry this buoy, what happens is if you actually had it removed with the quillion, it'll conceal much better. But I have it specifically designed so it's meant to be worn with the quillion attached, so you don't have to fumble and try to get the quillion out if you ever do get into the middle of a knife fight or gun fight. So on this, you see the brass bead there, so the brass stud. When it's inside the belt, there's a good chance that if you try to draw it as is whilst this is resting on your belt, you're gonna cut into your belt and your pants as you draw your blade out, which is never a good thing unless you're willing to pretty much buy new pants and belts every fucking time when you draw a blade. Which ironically, I did ruin a lot of good pants and jeans and belts due to that logic. This is where the skull bead lanyard comes in. So I'm not sure if you guys are going to be able to see this. So what happens is, it'll be resting while I'm carrying, and if I need to draw it, just like how I would on a Japanese swords, this almost acts like a kurigata. So, but just by lifting it up slightly, I clear the way this is positioned. I completely clear my waist. So thus, when I draw this, there's nothing that is going to cut into, the blade's not going to make contact with my pants or my belt as it's being drawn out. So, allow me to draw this now. Okay, be with me, be with me. Alright, so here it goes. So when you're drawing this, I have this, oh yeah, this is out. Oh baby. Silky smooth, I love that. So I'm going to put the sheath away, since it's cold and I really want to hold on to this. So what you see first is you'll see the Comtech logo and Uncle Jim's signature and Dozier's stamp. Now this part right here is called the Spanish notch, which Uncle Jim's teachings of Comtech buoy we use to actually trap your opponent's blade by and also disarm and redirect and do many awesome tricks with the proper training. And this is the forward curving guard that I was mentioning. You see that? And because Uncle Jim's a genius, Crossada was also meant to be wielded as a dos manos weapon. So if you are having to deal with someone with a baseball bat or a katana, yeah, I can still use this. It's not preferable. I mean, if I had a Nyonto, I'd rather go and use a Nyonto against another dude with a Nyonto, but if the situation comes to it, that I have to only have this, I can still be, and I'll still be well at home with this. So I love this because I can still do everything that I do and love with FFS, and oh God, I love that. The beauty of this is, let's say you're deflecting, and unless you're using a Nyonto or Japanese sword with a proper long guard or big guard, there's a likelihood chance that the attack might bounce off the front or even miss it completely and line your hand directly on your thumb. There's actually, I know for a fact, some of my friends who do Atienza Kali is probably a good example. Shout out to Carl, because I've seen some of his practitioners when they use, just going to use the Sunzi line here for a second. When they use the deflection, they go almost in parallel line to the attack, thus allowing them to target the hand right where there isn't a guard to protect the hand from. So if you ever run into people who specifically target attacks like that and are well skilled to do so, also, physically, take a look, guys. So, the Quillian negates that attack by allowing you to either block it or deflect it off completely. This is the reason why if you had only a day to learn how to knife fight because of some stupidity, you have signed your life away in a knife duel in the manner of honor and blah blah blah, or somebody just fist slapped you across the face saying, I challenge you for my honor, sir. And if you need to get into a knife fight to do so, this is the one knife that you should have in your hand, because otherwise you'll be dead. What this will do is increase your chances of survivability, because if you want to attack, just by keeping this correctly positioned and aligned, it'll prevent your attacker to possibly snipe your hand. With proper training though, you could also turn that against him and easily deflect. You could either beat, parry, and circle. So there's many things, and yeah, obviously you could do deflections on that if you can, but generally you could beat, and parrying is good enough. And this is something that, as you can see, is a spear point. So although with my modification it lends beautifully towards the forward curving cuts, aka snap cuts, again, trying to do a back cut while having the lanyard and FFS grip is near impossible. It also does great for, again, the lanyard, but you can still pull off the back cuts, and that's something that I love absolutely. Whew. Look at that whipping. Oh, Jesus. So the beauty about cat's paw is if you manage to, one of my favorite tricks when I'm sparring is I throw him a 1, angle 1, then when he kind of catches onto that, as he targets that, I target his hand, or if he keeps on blocking, I go above that and target the eye. And if he moves back to avoid that cut, I could also use number 3, the horizontal, to target the middle thyroid, pretty much end the fight right there. Or if he's still moving back with his hand, I could also target the wrist to actually disarm him, defang the snake. Man, so many things you can do with the forward guard. Like for example, my personal favorite as Uncle Jim is actually one of the very first things that he taught me when I went to train with him for Comtech Louis, is to simply beat over the top, and from here, using the forward curved guard right there, you could, just by turning, you could disarm your opponent and hold him at bay with your edge or the point. So Crossada, in my professional opinion, is probably the best blade. And the spear point Crossada is specifically designed for thrusting. But because I don't thrust like I used to, which lungo like that, which is good. I mean, if you guys still practice like that, that's not a problem. That's a really good form. But as Ray mentioned many times, and I personally experienced this, is when I would thrust like this, if it makes contact with any hard armor, what happens is it fucks up and jams up my wrist. So how I cut and thrust is almost exactly the same, like so. This is how we do essential Kali Streetsimo. Now, as you see, the motion, this is a cut. But ironically, this is also thrust. Just moving in, making sure the tip makes connection right there. And simply move my body, shifting it in, just like how any good fencer knows. Weapon moves first, the body follows. Same principle, but just that negates the possibility or reduces the chances of severe injury to your wrist during a thrust. So this is how I thrust now and work Crossada. Great. Those models even better. So there you go, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching the beautiful Crossada etched by the best. Thank you again, Daniel. After curving edges, there's no equal. And yes, those models rules.